Australia has an insatiable appetite for drugs, and we pay some of the highest prices in the world for our drugs. So there is a market, and the organised crime groups are here to exploit it.
How bad is our drug problem in Australia?
It is bad. If you look at the seizures from last year, we seized 8.9 tonne of cocaine just in Australia alone.
Wow.
That's a significant amount of cocaine. And if you look at the community here, they seem to just be very blasé about their drug use and quite willing to take drugs consistently, and that has created this market.
Why do you think Australia has such a blasé attitude to cocaine?
I sometimes think that people think cocaine is an okay drug to take. It's seen as a party drug. But if you're actually to see the production of cocaine and what goes into it, you know, it has cement dust in it, it has petrol, it has chemicals. It is not good for you. And then the other part that I really struggle with is the impacts of cocaine production at source countries. There is terrorism related to drug production in Colombia. I don't think Australians look past what they're actually doing when they're taking the cocaine. They don't have consideration of what it means for the environment or what it actually means for themselves and their bodies or what it means here for Australia.
You've been investigating cocaine drug importation since the 1990s. In that time, what's changed?
The size, the scale and the complexity. In the early 90s when I first joined the AFP, it was very much about people bringing drugs in, strapped to their body, having them internally or in small suitcases. There was no sophistication in the concealment really at all. What we're seeing now is really sophisticated networks operating globally. There's encrypted communications devices, you know, there's money laundering. So it's a global enterprise these days and it's not what it used to be.
So you're working against an enemy that has deep pockets and vast resources.
Organised crime, I think the figures last year, it costs it's a $60 billion business. There's a lot of money in organised crime. The amount of money movements that we've seen throughout Australia and moving is in the billions and billions of dollars.
And no regard for the law and no regard for human life. No
regard at all. In Australia, we've seen kidnappings, torture, standover tactics. There's been drive-by shootings. It's the range of violence that we've seen as tactics.
So nothing's off limits for these guys?
No, I don't think there is. I don't want to walk down the street and be worried about my safety. I don't want my children to be walking down the street and to be worried about their safety or to be in a situation or in the middle of something that's just by chance. That's not Australia. That's not who we are. There is no such thing as woke coke. What I really struggle with is people with money will go and have their cocaine and have it on the weekends, but then during the week they're environmentally friendly with their, you know, reusable coffee cup, and yet then they'll go and have their coke on the weekends. And if you think what's behind the production of cocaine, it's environmental damage, it's violence, it's, you know, there's communities are completely destroyed. So there's this contradiction between this ethical use of drugs and their environmental preferences. It just doesn't make sense to me.
So woke cokers need to wake up?
There's no such thing as woke coke.